from all your experience of being in the playoff and the postseason, and this will be obviously your first time with the Astros, what is different of this particular Astro team, and what is your expectation in this postseason? And if you could answer in Spanish, it will be lovely, but if you can't, I understand. I have to talk.
Okay. It's better to get it started and get me tired right away. So, no hay mucho diferente de esto juega, pero la gente aquí en el equipo crea mucho a ganar y tenemos mucha fuerza y creemos en el corazón y mental también, y ellos están muy juntos. Tiene mucho amor con ellos y crea mucho.
Can you give that to us in English, Dusty, please?
Okay. I tell you, you're going to make me tired like right away. Because if I got to think in Spanish, then it's hard. I mean, no, I'm not a natural. Like I really admire the Latin players for doing English interviews, because you really try to do it correctly. But what I said was these guys, they believe in each other. They have a lot of love for each other, and they are together. And the more together you are, then the better that you play.
In the middle on the left there.
Hi, Dusty. Christy Rican from the Associated Press. Have you solidified your rotation for the rest of the series?
Yes, we have, but we're not going to announce it today yet until we make sure that everybody's healthy, make sure everybody's well, because there's been some illness going around, actually in the state and in the world and here in Houston. So we're going to just make sure that everybody's well before we announce it.
Okay, right here in the front.
Hey, Dusty, Mark Berman from Fox. The significance of having Justin Verlander go for you in Game 1.
Well, I mean, this guy, he knows he knows what it's about, and he's been the horse many times. We're so glad to have him. I mean, this guy is one of the leaders on the team. Guys follow him, and guys feel very, very confident, and with him on the mound. And he's a very confident young man, and we feel very fortunate to have him.
We'll go on the far right, Dusty, in the middle.
Hey, Dusty. Chandler Rome with the Houston Chronicle. It would seem that whoever you play, it would seem that your decisions at DH and left field kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Kind of how do you view those two spots going into this, and would you like one person to kind of solidify left field?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, nobody's really solidified it, especially since Michael's been out. I mean, that hurt a lot, losing Michael Brantley that nobody mentions. But, we go on who's pitching for us. Also, the possibility of having to put somebody in for defense or having to pinch run for somebody. I mean, you hate to take your big bats out of there, but also the fact that, how well, Jordan has played left field, and I mean, he's played left field. I call him Golden Glove because he's come a long ways from the time when I got here, and he's playing Golden Glove left field. But all anybody sees is how he hits. But I also have to. His ankle's fine, but I also got to be cognizant of like day after night or whatever, because we got to keep him healthy and make sure he's getting to the plate.
In the second row on the far left, Dusty.
Dusty, Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle.
Yes.
You're obviously familiar with the Mariners. I mean, you're playing them all the time throughout the year, but they've kind of been a different team this year. They're hot right now. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from them this year that makes them maybe more challenging than they've been in the past?
Well, when they were under 500 earlier, everybody was concerned, and I told them that they would, that they were going to be here. Because I know they got talent. It's a long race, and they were without Haniger, and now they've added Castillo. I mean, those are two big weapons. But they're the same good, well-motivated team they were before. And, they know us pretty well, and we know them pretty well. So, hey, it's going to be a great series.
Go in the middle to the right, in the back there.
Brian McTaggart, MLB.com. How do you view your center field situation, and do you still expect Dubon to start with Verlander on the mound?
No, probably not. They just need, some more offense, possibly. And, we got our lineup, but, we'll announce it tomorrow after we, solidify our team and figure out who we're going to keep. And so I'll do pretty much what I've done, most of the year. You try to do what you do and what you think is the best lineup on that day. And, center field has kind of been a round robin of who I think should play against whoever we have pitching, the ballpark we're in, the speed, who we have pitching against us. I mean, it's been challenging not having one person, but that's part of the job.
Go on the third row on the left over here.
Adam Spillane from Sports Radio 610. With the way the series is laid out, where you have off days after games 1 and games 2, does that change how you would construct your roster, especially in terms of how many pitchers you might need?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Yeah, that's true. Because it really helps both bullpens stay fresh, especially when you have play one, then day off, play another, and then you got to construct it for the possibility of 3 days in a row at the last 3, and also one being a travel day. So yeah, it does. And a 5-game series is different than a 7, and 5 is different than a 3. And so it does make a difference in how you construct your lineup. Yes, I mean especially your pitching.
Go in the second row here in the middle.
Hey, Dusty. Kim Davis from Chalk Talk.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier a little bit about Brantley. Can you just talk about how this team has been able to, especially even offensively, kind of rebound with missing a guy like a Brantley all year? And, of course, we've talked about missing Correa.
Well, I mean, Correa's been more or less offset by the production of Pena. He's done a great job. Brantley, I mean, there's another, premier left-handed bat leader on the field. And, we are right-handed strong. And like I said, when Brantley was there, he would offset a right-handed pitcher, especially. I mean, he'd offset everybody, but especially right-handed pitching. And, he was a guy that would get on base, put the pitcher to stretch, and, hit those tough pitchers. And so, we have mentioned Michael. Plus, he's one of the best base runners that we had. He's probably one of the best outfielders that we had, and one of the best just ball players, period. And he's big on this team. I mean, that's why I'm glad he came back after his operation to be with his teammates, because these guys, they depend on. He's not called Uncle Mike for nothing, because they depend on him, and they know that they can go to him. And I feel confident that these guys, I urge them to go to him, because they know that they will get an honest answer for whatever question they may have.
Go in the middle on the right.
Following up on that, Dusty, what have you liked about Pena in the 2-hole and just kind of the pitches he's seeing there? And I know since he made the adjustment, he is hitting a lot better the last 3 or 4 weeks. But what do you like about him up there?
Number one, I ask them all in the beginning, where do they like to hit? And everybody has a preference of where they've hit a lot of times in their life, because I always bat leadoff, 3rd or 5th. I hit it number 4. And so, him batting in front of your Don, hopefully, he'll get more fastballs, which most young hitters like. And some of it's just out of necessity, and their second hitter, which I've urged him to be, which is a lot on the defensive side, a rookie shortstop, and a lot on the offensive side, where, where your second hitter has to be, one of the smartest hitters in your lineup. And so he's really, carried a lot on his shoulders, but I think that he was, one of the best because him down in the lineup, he's going to see more breaking balls. You know what I mean? And he has the ability to, to steal. He's a good base runner. So it's kind of a work in progress. But I mean, this guy is really, he's a smart kid, and he's made some tremendous adjustments in a short period of time.
Going the far right in the back.
Chancellor Johnson, KPRC. Dusty, Jose Altuve has been so good for you guys as a leadoff hitter. What does it do for your offense when a guy can get on a pitcher really early on in the game, and what does that say about him as a hitter?
Well, I mean, number one, he thinks he can hit. Number two, his background, he's been hitting all his life. And he not only has speed, but he has power at the same time. There aren't many leadoff hitters like Jose Altuve that can have enough speed to steal if you walk him or get on, or have enough power to, to hit the ball out of the ballpark early and put you up 1-0. It's more in the vein of like a Ricky Henderson or Lou Brock or some of these guys. I mean, I'm talking about some great Hall of Fame type players, and so we certainly love it when he's in the lineup, and we got a big hole when he's not.
Go right next to Chancellor back there, back right.
Given Seattle has so many lefties in the line, do you expect to carry a lefty in the bullpen?
Well, we're trying to decide that now, and I only have one vote, so we get in the room and we'll decide, what we need or what's best for us.
Go one more here in the second row.
James Montgomery, KCOH Radio. James Montgomery, KCOH Radio.
What's your nickname?
Mr. Baseball.
Okay.
Want to know, with the change in the playoff format, and now that you've had the bye, pretty much the bye, how has this bye affected the team's preparation, if it has at all?
Well, we really don't know the effects of it, and we really don't know the effects of being off. And we'll find out here soon. The one thing that it's done is let us set our pitching as much as anything. That's the one positive. We don't know if rust or being off that long. We won't know until we get into it, because I've been on both scenarios where I've clinched early or eliminated somebody early and had a few days off. But I've also seen some positive things come out of that, but I've also seen some positive things come out of not having any time off, just staying on it, so I don't know how it's going to affect them, but, we'll see how it affects us, if anything.
Thanks a lot, Dusty.
All right, thank you.
Jose Altuve.